only 1 or 2 vehicles to keep low, and somewhere I'm assuming between 4 and 8 soldiers to guard it. They obviously need an operator to go up there too to deactivate and secure, and I guarantee you there'll be a high up officer to make sure things go smoothly. But other than that, as for specific numbers, we don't rightly know. That's what we wanted you to find
I was
out.
going to write you something on Skype. I don't have to do that anymore. Inferno.
No.
From
Yeah.
from Al's knowledge, what would be a typical punishment? Let's say we stole all 4 of these things right under their noses and
Yep.
they didn't know it. What would be a typical punishment for them? How severe?
Well, you're very aware of the Skelebot program.
Mm-hmm.
You do know that, like, when you were being trained, they were starting to be manufactured.
Mm-hmm.
And around the time you defected was the time when they were starting to release the pilot or the initial ones. You don't know. What your knowledge is that these things are seen as expendable,
Mm-hmm.
but the coalition would not be happy if they were found in enemy hands at all. You do know, however, though, that they've been programmed. It was broadcast to a lot of individuals in the coalition military. There were a lot of people who were concerned about the Skelebot program. They're like, well, what if these things malfunction? Will they hurt other people? All that stuff. They do have a self-destruct switch in them as well. You don't know if CyberWorks knows about that or not, but the Coalition is quite certain. The Coalition, if anyone tampers with them,
Mm-hmm.
like tampers with their internal workings, that's supposed to detonate. So the Coalition would be displeased, but they... Well, I'm just trying to think the equivalent.
Well,
In the military, if let's just say in Afghanistan, insurgents stole half a dozen landmines, right?
right.
Would the military hunt down those guys for those landmines? Probably not, but they'd be aware that they're in their hands and to be very, very cautious.
No.
Right?
I think I misworded my question.
You understand?
I'm
Okay.
I'm concerned about what would the punishment be for the soldiers that were supposed to be convoying it.
Oh, demotions. They wouldn't be executed for negligence or anything like that. They probably would be dishonorably discharged or put into a location where they would have high supervision and they wouldn't be allowed to operate outside coalition territory.
So it would be
ever
like
again.
career killing,
That's
but
more
just not
likely.
person killing.
No, just not, no. Yeah, it would
Yeah.
be a little career killing. I mean, the coalition, it's a government. You know what
Right,
I mean?
right.
So if a soldier screws up and they still see potential in the soldier, they'll be like, okay, well, he screwed up on this. We're not going to let him do that again. Let's put him in a different environment. That sort of thing.
Okay. All right.
The only person who would have huge consequences is probably the officer in charge, and he'd get a severe demotion. That might kill his career.
Right. Okay. Then if we're alone and can talk to the party without owl eyes.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, you betcha. You can. Yeah, you guys can find. You don't have to stay in the bar at all. You can leave the bar at this point. After Mila downs another drink, which is almost literally straight vodka with like 5 drops of juice in it. They don't know how they can make it any harder without just giving you the bottle.
It's still pretty good.
Okay.
All right. Guys, I would highly recommend against this. It sounds fantastic. Lord knows I'd love to have a visual implant in my eye. But the thing is this. The Coalition isn't dumb. And if we're going to lay low from the Coalition, the less contact we have from them, the better. If any of them recognize me or Tom inside or outside of our armor, it could be game over. And beyond that, I might be able to set up a plan to take these things, but I don't know how I could do it without engaging any of them. And look, I may not be a fan of the Coalition, but I'm not ready to just kill soldiers just because they're wearing the wrong uniform.
I agree. I am curious about the robots, but not curious enough to put me in any more danger.
Do we
Yeah.
still get the squirrel?
We're gonna get the squirrel.
Yeah.
We'll just get it
Yeah,
through.
we'll get the squirrel.
We'll probably take up Perrin's offer.
Okay, then I don't care.
Okay.
Yeah, I would rather not mess with the coalition if at all possible.
Okay. Wonderful. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. When you're at the bar, just before you leave, a young woman, probably in the age, probably late 20s or so, with fiery red hair and very thick eye makeup, approaches Tom, of all people, and she goes, "Good evening. How are you?"
Hi.
"Hi. I can sense that you are a very special young man. Am I right?"
Yeah.
Good.
Kind
good.
of has a little worried look on his face. Kind of looks at Al, going, "Did you say anything?"
No.
No.
Like, I
And
shake my
she
head.
Okay, and she actually tries to step in between where you and Al are, just so she can focus just completely on you. And she goes, "I'm Cleopas. Very nice to meet you."
Hi.
"Hi. Now, don't worry, hon, I don't bite, but I do have a very particular diet." Now, some people call me a psi stalker, but that's awfully crass, don't you think?
What's a psi stalker?
Well, we're pretty much like regular human beings. I have a mommy and daddy just like you. However, we developed a small mutation. I don't need to eat and I don't need to drink. But there is a type of energy I do need in order to live, and you wouldn't want me to die, would you? And she kind of gives you these big, like, puppy dog eyes.
No.
No, okay. I'm glad. You seem like such a sweet young man, and I'm awfully hungry. Now, don't worry.
Can
I don't want to hurt you or anything like that.
At this moment,
Yeah.
can I come up behind the girl and put my mechanical hand on her shoulder very firmly and
Sure.
say, how to put this delicately? This is my friend, and if he chooses to help you, I'm all for it. But you have in your shoulder a needle, well, not in your shoulder, pressed against your shoulder, a needle that could kill you very, very quickly. So if you are trying to trick him in any way, shape, or form, now's the time to say something. And if he agrees to help you and you try to trick him or take too much or anything of the kind, you will not wake up tomorrow morning.
What's she gonna take? I'm confused.
What? Do you have money on you?
She is not very impressed, and her charming little smile fades instantaneously, and she says, "Forget it. I won't talk to him anymore. Get your goddamn hand off me, you ape."
I'll take my hand off.
And she gets off with a flourish. She says, "I can't believe this." And she goes straight to the front door, and she seems to be having a very vocal conversation with the orc bouncer that was there. She's very waving her hands around, and she's pointing at your group, and that sort of thing. And
I guess during this time, I'll try and talk to Tom. If I understand correctly, she was going to try and feed off your psi energy.
What? What?
Why
Why would somebody do that?
I'm assuming would I have had some knowledge of people like this at all?
You'd be extremely knowledgeable of that. The Coalition hires psi stalkers in the thousands because they can hunt down psionic and magic people like that.
So
They
am I
love
correct
them.
in saying that she was probably going to feed off his energy and that it could be dangerous because she could just take too much, et cetera,
No.
et cetera?
No,
Oh.
that was probably of that. She. This is the thing. There are wild size stalkers that are complete assholes that will kill a person and feed off their energy as they're dying.
Mm-hmm.
And there are size stalkers who just make a little tiny cut and just feed a little bit of energy, but it won't kill anybody at all. They
Oh.
just feel drained. But you can't kill a person by draining their personal psychic energy or their ISP. You can't
well,
kill
if
them
I
at
if
all.
I had known that, I might not have been so harsh.
Oh well, you just jumped to a conclusion. That's okay.
I
So she's waving her
I'm confident
hands
about it.
around, and the orc bouncer kind of just gives a sigh and rolls his eyes and he raises his hand. And he says, "Okay, I'll handle it." He goes over to you, and he doesn't seem all that impressed. He doesn't look like he's gonna punch you or anything like
Right.
that. And he goes, "You had words with Cleopas."
Very civil words, yes.
She's saying that you put your hands all over her and you threatened her life. Is that true?
My friend, I merely told her that she was being way too forward with my friend here, and that if she was not very careful, I would have had to have done something about it.
All right. I don't want to cause any trouble. I don't want to get you in a fight or anything like that. She's just hungry and horny. That she's just a barfly around here. It's probably best if you just leave. Is that okay?
It's fine by me,
Yeah.
gents, lady.
Sure.
Okay. And you know what? She's got a huge freaking ego on her too. Can you just make a bit of a show of it so it looks like you really don't want to leave or something, just so she doesn't get on my ass all night?
Mila, would you like to act?
Ah!
And then I say loudly,
Can
"You
I
see
pick
what
her
you've
up?"
done?" I was gonna say, "You see what
Yeah.
you've done to my friend here? How dare you, sir?"
You
Yes.
can't-
Yeah. Go ahead. It's fine.
All right, and the orc bouncer is gonna be like, I'm gonna pick you up now, okay?
Okay.
Okay, and he picks you up and
Calm
puts
me
you
down.
over his shoulder,
Calm me
and he
down.
takes you he takes you outside,
Ow.
and he puts you on the ground, and he makes a big show, and don't come back in here tonight.
How dare you?
And that's that. Cleopas seems she just looks at you with her steely gaze the entire time as you're being escorted out, and she goes, "Yeah!" And then just goes back to the bar.
Oh, he's like at the door, probably just put her down. I'm gonna try to squeeze past the bouncer through the doorway.
Yeah, and after Cleopas goes in, I go up to the bouncer and fist bump him. And then we leave.
Doesn't know what you're doing, but he goes along with it anyway.
You have a lot of strange greetings, Frank.
I saw it in a movie once.
Oh yeah, the one that yeah.
So
Oh,
my
wow.
my thinking is that we take Perrin up on his offer for the squirrel, and then everyone agreed we go talk to Perrin tomorrow morning about the radiation problem. I think that might be the most pressing.
He doesn't know anything about it. We probably just need to venture out on our own.
Well, didn't he say he was going to send a party? I would be more than happy to talk to Perrin to see if he has any sort of. Our suits can only take so much radiation. He might have some sort
Right.
of gear or
Yeah.
protection that might help us.
We need some radiation. gear.
Plus, I would love to press Perrin for any information he might have on certain friends we don't want to encounter. A big settlement like this has got to have some sort of information, and we've been on the road for a long time.
Friends. I don't understand.
Don't you tell him.
What?
I don't know.
I think it was threatening Mila. I don't know. I just heard it. Don't you tell him? And she's just like, oh.
Well, Mila was saying like, we don't have any friends. What are you talking about?
Alicia's your friend.
Well, yeah, but she's part of our group. She's part of our group already.
Mila.
I'm talking out of Mila.
Mila, I misspoke. I meant people who are not our friends.
We got a lot of those.
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Remember that redhead?
Not that one.
We don't want to give her any information. She seems like a righteous bitch.
Okay. So, unfortunately, when you go back, if you decide to go back to Perrin's mansion or his place for the night, he is probably closer around 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock or so, and he's actually retired for the evening.
Right.
The few people who are, I don't want to say servants, but the few people who are like working for him just say that he typically watches a movie privately and then goes to bed around this time. So you'd have to talk with him in the morning. But he's already hoped that you come down and join him for breakfast, so you can probably talk then.
Okay.
You each have an individual room. They're quite large and quite lavish as well. Silk sheets, soft pillows, good, firm, actual mattresses, private bathrooms, and actually indoor plumbing as well, so you can bathe and clean yourself if you wish. And yeah, that. We'll just say the night passes just fine.
Mhm.
And in the morning, you all have laid out kind of at the front of your door some fresh clothes, actually. They weren't your old clothes that were laundered. They're all just like for the men, typically trousers and shirts and an overcoat and shoes, all brand new shoes as well for you to change into if you wish. Mila, on the other hand, gets more than just a set of clothes. She receives a very nice orange sundress, a basket that has wildflowers, sweets in it, and a big jug of chocolate milk
Oh,
laid at her doorstep.
wow.
That's adorable.
He may or may not be crushing on you pretty hard.
Amelia. Mila still has no fucking idea. Like even though they're like, yeah.
Like, look at all this cool stuff I got.
She's actually gonna put the sundress over her regular clothes and be like, oh, this is pretty.
So when you come down for breakfast dressed like that, Perrin does a double take. Goes, okay, good to see you. Good to see you all. And, over breakfast, you can chat with him if you want. You said there was a few things.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hi. Good morning.
Thank you.
I have a question. Are these clothes a rental or are these for keeps?
Those are my gift to you.
Oh,
thank you.
sweet. I've been looking for a new
Oh,
pair of
cool.
shoes.
So, first things first, let's get this out of the way. I think that we have decided to take you up on your offer for the traveling band of Mary.
Fantastic. The traveling show, our minstrel band. Yes. Excellent.
Circus.
Fantastic. That's great.
Um,
Unfortunately, I can't put you up for the entire month that they're going to be here, but I'll make sure our inn here gives you a reduced rate.
That's absolutely fine. I do have another question real quick, or we'd also like to take you up on the offer for the, instead of paying us a wage for it, the squirrel in return.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. I can contact Cyberworks for you if you like. I can make sure they put the order in. I'll pay for it in full, and then
A
just
better
have
way,
you,
a better way would be so that we can negotiate the details of the actual unit. I can just bring you the invoice.
Okay. Fair
And then
enough.
we
Yeah,
can do it that way.
gives me a chance to look it over. Okay. Yeah. Sure. Fair enough.
And
Fair
then,
enough.
yeah, we would, and thank you for the offer. Also, we were concerned because now, I mean, we have a month here, and we would like to. You've been very kind and generous to us. We would like to help out.
Okay.
We would like to check out the radiation just to make sure that there's nothing untoward going on that might injure or harm the people of the town.
Oh, most certainly, most certainly. Yes, definitely. I was going to just send some people out this morning just to check it out, just to confirm what you said, but you're the ones who saw it yourselves. I guess it makes perfect sense for you to go. Yeah, you have my blessing to do so. Not a problem. It's not technically on my land, so...
I have a
Yeah,
request.
go ahead.
Considering
Okay.
that there's radiation there and we don't know how bad it would get, our body armor will only provide us so much protection. Do you have any sort of
Radiation
protection?
shielding?
Radiation shielding in case it gets too bad.
I do. I just have a few sets of, I guess you could say, iron inlaid dressings that you could wear probably underneath your armor. And that would protect you pretty well. In addition, I can make sure that the clinic treats if you get any sort of radiation poison, I can guarantee you that we can get it treated for you as well. Plus, I can give you some Geiger counters. Of course, these would just be on loan.
Of
You'd
course.
have to return them. I don't have
Naturally.
that many.
Naturally.
And before I gave them to you, I have you sign a bit of paperwork saying if any of it got lost or damaged, you were responsible for the replacement cost.
Of course.
Fair
And then,
enough.
and then in return, we would be happy to look into this. I mean, obviously, just free of charge. We just want to kill some time and make sure that there's nothing dangerous out here. So, yes, if you're willing to lend us the protection, we're willing to look into this for you.
All right, wonderful. Well, I think we can definitely come to agreement with that. Is there anything else?
One more thing, but I'd rather you talk to you in a less open setting.
Ah, I see. You just want to speak man to man? He asks, looking to the rest of the group.
Oh, well, nothing I have to hide from the group, but yes, if you don't mind.
All right, here, step into my meeting room. It's soundproof. I'll make sure I shut the doors.
Okay. And I mean, it's not like I'm trying to speak away from the group, so I don't mind if you guys come or not. I just don't want anyone else other than him.
It's off.
Yeah.
well,
Can I
first
continue
follow.
eating?
Sure, yeah, you can have second breakfast, Piff.
Oh my god, yes.
For breakfast, by the way, it's an assortment of fruits and pancakes. They made
Right.
pancakes. And all the chocolate milk Mila wants.
You guys
They've
don't
now-
understand. Pancakes
Mila's
are
just
what
gonna
got
bring
me
her-
through basic training and for reals.
My God, pancakes are basically the best thing about life.
We would
and really
literally-
why I live.
We would literally, the people in my barracks, we would literally rate our day on how good it was, depending on whether or not there were pancakes or not.
It was pancake day.
It
Who,
was,
you know,
It was
you
good
have
day.
to be like Satan to hate pancakes.
well,
Literally Satan.
well, it wasn't so much if it was there; they were always there. It was more like an officer would cut in line and take the last ones, like 2 people before I got there.
Aww.
Yeah.
Aw.
But okay, so anyway, so go into the room and
Can I explain something before?
yes, yeah.
Sure.
By the way, my character is ravenous for actual food because he's been eating like
Like fucking
Ready to
MREs.
yeah, he's been eating ready to eats and like living off the land for pretty much his entire life. And this well cooked food he cannot get enough of.
Yeah, and it's damn good food. It's damn good food, too. Like, yeah. Anyway, you're assigned the meeting room with
Right.
with Al and whomever else wants to join in the group.
I didn't bring this up.
Anyone else?
I didn't bring this up earlier because I'm not quite sure exactly how to handle it. I'm not very familiar with these things, but when we came into contact with the cyborg that you so generously bought off our hands, we also happened to have a run-in with some unit, some expedition, something from the Coalition. They said they were on their way to go get spider bots. I don't really know what they were talking about, but we ran into them, and they did not take too kindly to us. They tried to press me into service, something about me being trained in what could be a hostile land and my medical skills, and we kind of didn't leave slowly. I'm sorry, I'm not really familiar with this kind of thing, but I was hoping perhaps I don't know if the coalition is looking for me still or not, but I figure a large settlement like yourself must have ways to put an ear to the ground or have some sort of knowledge of coalition activities or what. I just would like to know if there's anyone looking for me or anyone else in my party.
Finger gets a little. His normal jovial laid backness gets a little serious. He goes, well, I can definitely help you. I do have a lot of connections, and I know a lot of people who can help as well. We can definitely put our feelers out, but I'm going to need a little bit more information from you. Just so we get, more accurate, some more accurate data.
What was told to me, they asked me in no gentle terms that I was to join the coalition for my services. When I refused, the officer made it very clear that it would be no difficult task for him to put in a report or a message on my head stating that I was a deserter from the coalition, a medical deserter.
But you weren't. Were you born in the coalition?
No, of
states?
course not. Of course not.
That's
why I
odd.
thought it was so weird. But he said it would be no problem to forge such documents, such whatever they do. He was very convincing. And I'm sorry, I'm a doctor. I'm not really used to such harsh treatment. But he claimed that he could say that I was a deserter from some branch of the coalition, and that he could have people hunt and track me down. So, I mean, I'm worried that he might have done such a thing. Maybe there's some, I don't know, what would it be, a bounty, some alert out for some doctor or someone from the coalition? I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm not very familiar with this kind of business.
He says, okay, well, why don't you roll, you have your percentage to, I think it was like charm or intimidate, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I know you're not trying to charm him, but I know you're really trying to sell this to him, right? For help. So why don't you roll that skill, and we'll see how successful you are.
1 point above.
Okay, so it's
Ouch.
not bad. See, that's a nice thing because it's flexible, right?
Right.
So Perrin goes, okay. He goes, so they wanted you because you're a doctor.
That's what they told me.
Interesting. Have you had any run-ins with the coalition before? Don't worry, this is a completely coalition-free place, so to speak. Sometimes a few coalition scouts come on here to resupply, but we're not allied to them whatsoever. You can trust me.
Well, no. I mean, I was trained in Laszlo. You don't see too many coalition types around there.
He chuckles. He goes, no, that's true. That's true. That's weird. Maybe it's because you're from Laszlo.
Well,
Maybe they wanted to send you.
that was my thinking, is that it might have been less for my medical skill, because obviously they have doctors, but maybe it was a doctor from Laszlo that made me so valuable. I mean,
Okay.
yeah.
I can keep an ear to the ground. This head officer that threatened you, what did he look like?
I'm sorry, he was in power armor. I'm not power armor, but full body armor. He never took his helmet off. He definitely had, it looked like a coalition armor. It had long, okay, I was actually going to try and describe the picture, but let's just say that I describe exactly what the body armor for an officer would look like.
Okay. He goes, okay, well, it was a man, right?
Definitely a man.
What did he sound like? Did he have a high voice, low
Deep.
voice?
Deep. Husky.
Deep voice. Deep husky voice. All right. Was he overweight? Was he skinny?
No, he looked
Was he-
incredibly, wow, what would you say, soldier-like? His
Athletic?
presence was, he wasn't the biggest person, but he was intimidating.
Okay. Wide shoulders? About
Yeah.
how tall was he?
About your height, maybe a little taller.
Okay. All right. I can't guarantee you anything there, Al. I mean, that's a pretty vague situation, but I do know if they are pursuing you, they're going to ask around. And eventually when people ask around, especially around where I am, I'm going to find out about it. So I'll let you know.
I would appreciate it. This kind of thing terrifies me, so.
Well, the good